Hi, so in this video, we are going to discuss about HTTP request headers. So request headers are sent along with an API request. So they are nothing but the additional metadata about the request which we are making. So here is a client which is trying to communicate with the server through an API request. Okay, so it is also along with the get request. It is also passing some request headers. So request headers are nothing but key value pairs, that provide additional information to the server about the client or the request being made. So they contain details about authentication, content type, or the user agent. So this is the basic structure of an HTTP request header, and these are the common HTTP headers, and we'll take a look at them one by one. So this is the first one, the host. So as the name suggests, it specifies the domain name or the IP address of the server to which the request is made. So in this example, we are making the request to example.com. So the host will contain that server name here. Okay. So next is the authorization header. So this is used in the context of whenever you are logging to the user. So it contains credentials for the authentication such as token or the username and the password. So you can see here the key value pair of authorization and the authentication details being sent here. Next one is the content type. So this indicates the media type of the request body. So media type of the request body in the sense whenever you're trying to create a new resource. Let's say you're making a post request to create a new product. Okay, then we have to send the request. We have to send the entire resource in the request here in this format, in the JSON format. So we have to specify the content type as application/JSON here. So next is the user agent. Okay, so it provides information about the client which is making the request, such as the client software, the browser, operating system, or the device type. Just like host sends the information about the server, here the user agent will send the information about the client. So the common use cases for user agent is content optimization. Okay, so the server can optimize the content, whether it's a web browser or a mobile or the mobile application. So based on that, it can content optimize the content for the client. It can blog the clients based on from where the request is coming from. It can be used for analytics purposes to find out from which browsering being used the most. Okay, so for those reasons, you can use that information. Next is the accept. So accept specify the response formats a client can handle. Okay, so it's a key part in the content negotiation where the server selects the response format that matches with one of the client's accepted formats. So client needs to send to the server that this is the media format it can support. So this is the format which is used, like the media type as well as the quality of it. So basically, it can accept more than one media type also, optionally followed by the quality to indicate the preference here. For example, here it can specify whether it can accept the text.html or the application slash JSON. The quality can range from 0 to 1, okay, indicating high preferences. The 1 is the higher, and between the 0 to 1 are the lower ones. Okay, so here in this example, we can say the server can send response in any format, which means the client can accept any format here. Similarly, client can accept multiple formats based on the priority. So in the below example, application slot JSON is the top priority, and XML is the next top priority, and this is the least priority. So you can specify the priorities as well. So accept encoding specifies the compression algorithm, the encoding algorithms a client can handle. Okay, here you can mention the compression algorithms which the client can handle. Okay, cache control specifies the caching behavior of the request. It is sent by the client to instruct the server on how to handle the caching of the request. Okay, this is one example of no cache. So there are different cache control options here. For example, no cache, it forces the server to validate the resource with the version server, before using any cache version. No store means it prevents the caching altogether. Neither the client nor the intermediate cache should store the response. Here we can specify the max time in second the cache response is considered fresh. Okay, you can specify this in seconds. and this request only a cached response. Okay, if no cached version exists, we can give this timeout error. So these are the different cache control options. So this is what I have specified here, like for no cache, no store, and this is the maximum age which you can specify. Next is the referrer. It specifies the URL of the web page that refer the request. So we will be making the request from a web page to the other server. So it allows the server to know from where the requested resource came from or being used for. So basically, this can be used for analytics, logging, or any security purposes. For example, it allows the server to identify the source of the traffic. It helps to detect suspicious activity such as a request from a very unexpected source. It provides insights into user navigation path. It allows resources to track the usages. For example, here a user clicks on page A to go to page B. So request from the page A will look like that. Okay. So refer here is set to example home, indicating that request to products came from this specific page. So next is a cookie. So these cookies are small pieces of data which are stored on the client side, typically for maintaining the session or tracking any user activity or storing any preferences. Okay, basically they are sent from the client to the server after the server sends a response in the set cookie. So this is how it can send back the information like session ID and what theme it is preferring. So basically, it is used for maintaining login sessions or shopping carts, storing user preferences like theme or the language, tracking. Also used for analytics and user behavior tracking. So this is basically how the structure of the cookie looks like. Here you can specify the session ID, what theme it is preferring, and what the language it is supporting. Apart from this, we can also send out custom headers. Okay, custom headers can be added by the clients for a very specific use case. For example, here we are sending a header. So this is the format like X, and then we can specify what request ID or any other information we want to pass. Here in this example, we are sending the request ID here so that it can be used by the server to track from where the request came from. So this is a basic sample HTTP request with headers. So basically here we are trying to log into the application using a post request. And you can see here we are specifying the content in the JSON format here, the content length, what is the content type here, and also we are specifying the authorization details here. So where we are making this request, just a basic sample HTTP request with headers. So where so what is the use case for using the HTTP request header? Mostly for authorization, using authorization for the API tokens. Then we can use accept for the content negotiation to specify what format as a client we are supporting. And also we can use it for caching, using caching control to prevent caching of very sensitive data. And you also use custom headers for request tracking or for any other purpose, any other business use case we can use them.